Welcome back to Grain Free Homestead. My name's Derek. Hope you guys are having a great week here in Kentucky. It is cold, I don't know. It got warm. We were in the 70s or in the high 60s, and then second winter has hit, and now it is just freezing cold. I hate this. I hate this weather. This is the time of year that I hate the most. I wanted to make a video that's a little bit different than what we normally do. We normally have videos to try and encourage and try and help you guys with your all's homestead. And this video is a little bit different. It is going to be more of just some of the crazy things that we are going through, just insane things that are happening. And I think they happen to everyone. It's those things that you're just like, my life is crazy. This stuff is just insane. Like, it just like insult to injury. Like, what in the world? Why does this stuff keep happening to me? Like, why are we, from going from bad to worse? And I wanted to share just almost document some of the stuff, because we've had things happen and they were so crazy that they were almost unbelievable. Like, how in the world, it's like a domino effect of things that happen. And it's like this one little thing happened and it set up this whole scenario. And it's happened to us multiple times. And there's been a lot of really neat, God things happen to where God just sets these things up. And they are great blessings for us. They're just, with our homestead, there's just like us to even be where we are is a huge blessing. It's a testimony that to God that we're even here, because so many little things have lined up to allow us even to be where we're at. And we are very grateful. We are very, excited and thankful for what we have and where we're at. But at the same time, there's like these things that happen, and they almost feel like some kind of direct attack. Like, how in the world can this one little incident happen and it just create a landslide of stress and anxiety and just craziness? Like how this isn't even possible. Like, what in the world? So I wanted to document some of these little things just because some stuff has happened, and I knew it was crazy, and it was so crazy that, and we had so many things going on that you just kind of almost forget about it. Like, you go through this, season of what in the world just happened, and then once you get through it, you almost just forget about it. Like, that did happen. It was so intense that you just try to survive to get through it. And then suddenly you're through it and you're like, there was so much going on and it seemed so unbelievable, but I didn't even, did that even happen? So I'll start with this. This is what's happening today. And I've told my mom, I've told a few other people about it, and they just laugh. Earlier this year, or it was last year, we were getting the house. We've been remodeling for 2 years, and we got to the point to where there was certain rooms in the house that were ready to be drywalled. We had taken down all the plaster. We had done all this work. We kept getting these little things would just slow us down. We would take big steps forward really fast. And then this thing would happen, or these scenarios would come up, foundation issues or plumbing issues or wiring issues, something that would just put a halt, just stop all the progress. And that's normal. We expected that kind of stuff. It's a 150-year-old house. We're going to have a lot of, there's going to be stuff that we don't know about. There's going to be stuff behind the walls. But some of these things, a lot of people that were involved in it didn't even realize it was happening. And even today, things are still happening from stuff that happened in the past. It's like these dominoes are still falling. So I'd say it was in July of 2024, we had a contractor come out, and great guy. He's doing his job. We hired him to put drywall up. So we needed probably like 12 sheets of drywall or 15 sheets. I can't even remember. But he was going to have them delivered, which that's fine. Makes it a whole lot easier to get it delivered. And he specifically asked the company who was delivering it to use a smaller truck. We have a really long driveway. It's kind of narrow. It's hard to get in and out. And we have a lot of these low-hanging trees. And our driveway's gravel. I don't know if anybody remembers, but last year we had like these big rains that would just hit. And then we would go into like a drought, it seemed like. So we would get a monsoon, and then we would go 4 weeks without any rain. So when that truck decided to come, we had just had a huge rain of 2 inches of rain. So the contractor asked that they bring a smaller delivery truck. Well, there's a big construction thing going on south of here, and I'm guessing that the company delivering was trying to save money. So they brought one of these big semis with a big crane on it, like a boom truck or whatever they're called. And it was exactly what he said not to do is what they did. They're just trying to save money. I get it. I'm very patient, and I have a lot of patience with everyone because I understand. My family has a landscaping company, so we have to deal with the public, and stuff happens, just happens. And some things just make more sense. Like, hey, we're gonna have to use a different truck, or we're gonna have to, just whatever. So the big truck comes, and he's kind of just shaking his head like, here we go. This is gonna be, a little bit more difficult because this is like a semi coming down my driveway, my narrow driveway, and I have a lot of low-hanging trees. And of course, that's really what happened first, is a lot of the trees got damaged and tore up, limbs got broke. And at the time, it was just like, it happens, whatever. I'm just happy to have drywall. They unload the drywall, and everything seems to be going okay. But when they go to leave, they have to back the semi out. And they've tried to turn it around. Like I said, my driveway's kind of narrow. And when they were backing it out, they had to back I don't know if the driver was inexperienced. I don't know. But they had a lot of trouble getting out of our driveway. And they had to sway back and forth quite a bit. And in that process, they went off the driveway and into the yard. And they tore up the yard. It's a big truck. It had just rained. So I'm really not a big deal. I'm not a super picky person about my yard. We have 5 acres. The driveway goes the whole length of the property. On the way out, when they got to the very end of the driveway onto the main road, to get out of the driveway, they busted the lid to our water on-off, our water main, like the on-off valve. They contacted us and said, hey, we did some damage. We're sorry. We'll fix whatever. And the water company fixes this kind of stuff. The water lid, the lid to the water main, no big deal. That's not even a problem. I told the guys, don't worry about it. No big deal. This is all just small, petty stuff. I'm just happy to have the drywall. Thank you, and you all have a great day. So I called the water company, and I told them that the lid was busted. And it took them like 3 or 4 months. I had to put a piece, it was a hole in the ground, and I didn't want anybody falling in it, walking down. We have a lot of people walk in the area. So I got a piece of wood and cover. It took them like 4 months. Well, in the first month, I noticed my water bill literally doubled. And I'm like, oh no, something. And then I remembered, I'm like, you know what? Like, we were in the middle of the garden season, and there was no rain after that for 3 or 4 weeks. And we left the water on out in the garden 2 or 3 nights. It happened over the summer. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. You're in a hurry. It's getting dark. You haven't had rain. You just forget to turn the water off. It's happened to all of us. So I noticed my water bill had doubled. Like, went from using like 6,000 gallons to 12,000 gallons. And a month or two went by, and I was like, this is really high, but we are using a lot of water. Well, after the third month, I'm like, okay, the line to the house has been damaged. And the only thing I can think of that would have damaged it was this truck. Whenever he was backing out of our driveway, he somehow damaged the line, and we have a leak. So I contacted the water company, and luckily because we have such a long driveway, we have insurance that if something happens, they'll fix it. We pay a month, it's like $6 a month. And some people don't have that. I get it. Your house isn't in you're not very far from the road. We have a very long driveway, and that's a long ways to go. It's a lot of line to fix, try to even figure out where a leak is. So I call the water company, I get a hold of their insurance company, and I'm like, hey, it looks like we have a water leak. My water bill is double. So they're like, do the test on your toilets to make sure that you put some dye in the back of the tank, and if it comes over into the toilet, then you got a leak. Did all that. Water, I made sure everything was tight, nothing was leaking, and sure enough, the water bill doubled. It shows like your last year's usage to this year's usage, and it was, we were at 5,000 last year, 12,000 this year, 10,000 this year. It just kept going up. So we're like 4 months in, and I call back. I'm like, look, I definitely have a water leak. I need you to send someone out to fix this. So they're like, okay, we'll contact a plumber. They'll get a hold of you. Never heard nothing from the plumber. And we're not just sitting around waiting for phone calls. We have life going. We have kids. We have school. We have chickens. We are trying to renovate a house. We have jobs. We have high demand lifestyle. We're just running, and we have church. We're involved in a lot of things. So having this water leak, I still have water into my house, so it's not high priority, but it's just there. And it's one of those things that just get put on the back burner. I know I'm paying more for water than what I should be, but at the same time, I am putting out fires, like just trying to get something done, trying to get drywall, trying to get, just little things, painting done. So a water leak has just got pushed back. So a few months go by, and I call them back. I see the water bill. Every time the water bill comes in, it's like a reminder, like, oh, they still haven't fixed this. I got to call them. Call again. They say they're going to send somebody. And I don't think it's really the insurance company's fault, because they're calling these companies. It's these plumbers that they're overwhelmed with other work. I don't know if this kind of work doesn't pay a lot. I'm not sure. But regardless, they weren't showing up. They weren't calling. They weren't making appointments. So in December, I got we had all this snow and ice here. We had it was the 1st of January. I can't even remember. January, I guess, we had ice and snow. We had like 8 inches of snow at one point, and I noticed a place out in the yard that there was no snow. Right near the driveway, there was no snow accumulating there, so it was warmer. So I have a friend who's a plumber, and I contacted him about it. I was like, hey, maybe I can just get you to fix this, because I'm pretty sure I know where this is, because there's no snow in this spot, so I'm guessing there's warmer water coming up from under the ground here, and it's keeping that area warm. So it kind of pinpointed the spot. And I did notice too that there, we had a lot of rain. There was one area that just was not drying out. It was kind of sinking. So I'm like, this has to be, where this water leak is. So once I pinpointed it, I contacted the insurance company again. I said, look, we have to get this figured out. Like, this is months and months. So they send out a company. I'm not going to say this company, this plumbing company's name, And they get there, and I'm like, I show the two guys come out, two plumbers. They just work for this big company, and they see the spot, and they're like, yeah, this is definitely what's going on, and we're gonna get this fixed for you. I'm like, great, thank goodness. It's been too long. So they said, but first we have to mark all your lines coming in and out of your house. Now we have natural gas, and I kind of knew where that was, and we have overhead power lines. We don't have underground utilities. And I have there's an internet or phone cable or whatever that's underground in a totally different area. But I get it. They need to mark just in case something's there that no one knows about. I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm just happy to get this. I just want to get this done. I want to get this thing checked off the list. I need this water line fixed. So this was about, I guess, 3 weeks ago. So the Louisville Gas and Electric is our gas company. They come out to mark the line. At the time, Stephanie has the flu, and our son has the flu, and they're like, you know how it is when you have the flu. You're not even in your right mind. I had to go to work. I never got the flu. I didn't get sick. So this guy comes, and he's just putting the little flags, marking the spray paint with, showing where the line is. And I guess he gets up close to our house where the gas meter is. And for some reason, I don't know if he was checking like a pipe, like if he was just checking in the ground, maybe there was a reason for it. I don't know. He gets his spade out, and he digs the spade in right next to our house, right near the gas line, where the gas meter is. So I guess Stephanie's relatives, whoever ran the water to other areas, they had a water line there, and this guy nailed it with the spade, totally shattered it. It's this PVC pipe, this old stuff, and blew the whole water all up on the house. Now we have a major water leak. No water is coming into the house because it's all blowing out away from the house next to the foundation. The guy panics, and he comes and knocks on the door to tell Stephanie about it. She has the flu. She's halfway unconscious. She's taking her homemade medicine stuff, her Tamiflu or whatever it is, and her oils. But she's sick. She has a fever. She does not, this is not what she needed to happen, is to not have any water in the house. So the gas line guy goes, he shuts off the water. But we have a major problem. We have no water to the house. He's cut the line accidentally. The guy who was marking the lines so that they wouldn't get cut the lines. So it's kind of ironic. So we called the original plumbing company who had the lines marked. They can't come out. They're like, you need to go get a hotel room because it's going to be 5 days before we can come out and fix this new problem. I'm like, this isn't an option. So LG&E contacts us, and they're like, they send like a manager or somebody out. They look at it, and they're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how this happened. This should have never happened. We're very sorry. Here's a claim number. Do what you got to do. Just get it fixed. So luckily, we have people that we know and we trust. We love. They're plumbers. They're in our family. They're whatever. They're just people. How everybody knows somebody. So we get our friend to come out. Thank God. Thank you, Mike. You're awesome. He fixed this plumbing close to the house. Stephanie was on the phone trying to get the insurance thing going. And they were like, "It's not happening. You're gonna need a hotel room." Well, then the one lady, she's like, "We'll send some. Maybe we can send somebody." Well, it's like we've already got this taken care of. So I just call and tell them, like, "Look," I get up, those automated phone calls. They're like, "We've already got it fixed that day. They leak the water up close to the house. That the gas line was hit, or not the gas line, but the guy checking the gas line hit the water line. So they send the automated, hey, we're on our way to come fix your problem. And I message them and I'm like, look, we have this problem fixed. You don't have to come out. So they're like, okay, they canceled the order. So a few days later, I'm like, oh, are they ever going to come out and fix the leak next to the road? Well, of course, I canceled that unknowingly. There was just miscommunication. And so they're just like, the lady was not the friendliest lady. I'll say that. My wife had the flu and was talking to her, and she just was like, you're going to have to get a hotel, which just seems silly to us. Like, this isn't a major, issue. This should be something that you can come out here and fix in just a few hours. But I guess it ends up being a bigger deal. So we have water in the house after that, and I contact the insurance company and say, look, I explained to them everything that happened. We need to get a new claim number for the leak at the road or, at the driveway. So I talked to the insurance guy. He's like, we have this company. They're going to contact you in 24 hours. Nothing. Nobody contacts us. I call back a week later and say, look, this has been going on and on. I'm getting tired of dealing with this. This is crazy. Like, I know you all are contacting plumbers, but the plumbers are never contacting us. So I try again, different company, different plumbing company, nothing. I mean, this was Monday, so today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So I called back this morning, and I'm aggravated. It takes a lot to get me aggravated. And I know this guy is like, it's not his fault this stuff's happening. And I'm just really, I'm like, hey, I know it's not your fault, but I am extremely aggravated by this. This is crazy. Like, why is it so hard for you to get a plumbing company to come out here? Like, do you all not, can I use my own plumbing people and we can get this done? And they're like, no, can't use your plumbing people. We have to use ours. So this guy tells me, he's like, look, I will take care of, I'll get somebody out there today. And it was like some kind of Christmas miracle. We go out, run errands, we come back, and there's a guy in the driveway. He called me. He's like, hey, I'm here. I tell him where the problem is, and he starts working on it. Now, this is a young kid. He's like in his 20s. He says that his truck is being worked on, so he doesn't have all his tools. He's out there with a bucket. He didn't have a shovel to dig. He had to go back and get a shovel. He just had a lot of stuff going on for him too today. So it's just crazy insanity stuff, So he's out there with a bucket, like bailing this pit of water that's formed, and he's fixing the leak. I'm thinking this shouldn't be that big of a deal. Just clear the mud around it, get the water out, turn the water off. Just reclamp it, whatever, cut the bad out, put new in, and we should be good to go. So I guess that's what happens, and the problem is that he said the glue didn't have time to set because it was all wet, and when he turned it on, it started spraying and leaking again everywhere. So I went out there. I found like a submersible pump, so we could keep emptying out the water because it keeps wanting to fill up with water. And we do this like 3 or 4 times, and it's older PVC pipe, and it's brittle, and it's breaking in multiple places. So at this point, it starts getting dark. He's out there working. It's freezing cold out. It has rained. Everything. There is mud everywhere. We've dug this big hole in the ground, and we haven't had water because we had to turn all the water off. And he told me, he said, we'll get this done today. Well, apparently not, because the problem is bigger than what we realized. There is multiple leaks in this pipe. This pipe is older. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's only like maybe 20 years old. I would think that that wouldn't be, old enough for it to just disintegrate. So as of now, we don't have any water today. And you do not realize how much you need water. This is part of this, kind of showing like, hey, we need to have some backup water plans, because if we don't have water, you don't realize it until it's like electricity. I don't know how many times I went to go wash my hands or get a drink of water today since we didn't have any water hooked up. So they're coming out tomorrow. They're going to replace the whole line. And like I said, thank God that we had that little $6 insurance on our water bill every month, because this is thousands and thousands of dollars that no one ever plans for. So it's the emergency fund, and usually it's going to be something like this is going to be way more than $1,000. So now we have, we don't have any water today. There's been a few things, like we have the water machine. I don't know. I'll show it to you guys. And let's see, show you that, it was nice that we had this, because it's like 3 gallons of water, but those 3 gallons of water it's filtered water. It's a huge, huge difference today for us having any water. So this is the water machine. I think we showed it before. It's got some charcoal filters. You just put the water up here, and gravity feeds through here, and it goes through and comes down, and then we got a dispenser here. This thing it was great to have today, because we were able to have like 3 gallons of water. So it was just kind of funny to me that it all happened like 7 months ago. We ended up getting some drywall, and it caused a headache and all kinds of stress and anxiety, and all these issues just keep piling on. It's like, how does this kind of stuff even happen? You have one little small thing where somebody made a decision about bringing a bigger truck, and it's caused us higher water bills, for double water bills for 6-7 months. It's caused all kinds of, making appointments, hours on the phone, contacting insurance companies. It's just crazy how one of these little small events can just become like a landslide and just totally overwhelm you. And I wanted to share all this. I mean, it's just a crazy story, but it's also just, it happens to us all. We all have these events that happen, and it seems like this can't get any worse, and somehow it just keeps getting worse. And I wanted to encourage you guys that, this happens to everyone. It's a season. They're coming tomorrow, and now we're going to get a whole new water line from the road to our house, covered by the insurance. So it's like you got to look at the positive things that are going to come out of this. And it drives you crazy if you sit there and dwell on all these negative things that are happening. And it's like, this happened, I'm the victim, this is happening to me, why is this, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep getting worse? And it's just kind of like God showing us, it's a conversation I'm having with God, is the way I look at it, And I've learned a lot from this kind of stuff with a home renovation. It seems kind of silly to even compare that kind of stuff, but for us, we're in the middle of this in our life. It's an everyday thing. We come home to a home renovation, we have a leak in the roof or in the siding. We thought it was in the window. We thought it's just been like a constant battle trying to figure out how water is getting into our house. And now we're to the next step. And it's caused us not to be able to finish the drywall. It's caused us not to be able to put in carpet. It's caused us not to be able to have our bedroom finished. And it's taking months and months and months, and way longer than we'd ever planned. But at the same time, there's been positive things that come out of it. We have some great contractors that are like family now. We have made new friends, and there's some great people out there in the world that sometimes these inconveniences happen, and you get these relationships that are amazing, that you get to meet people that you never would, and have friends now. I know some great guys that do electrical work. I know some great guys that replace windows and put in storm windows and do siding and do roofing. And these guys are like, they're part of our family now. They've been here working with us for months. And if it had never even been an issue, I would have never even had the opportunity to really, it'd have been a thank you for fixing this, and y'all have a great one. Never talked to them. And I know their families, and now it's like we have these great relationships with people we never would have before. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I know there's people out there who are going through this kind of like heartache and anxiety and the stress of how does this stuff just keep happening. But you have to look at the positive things, and what is God trying to say to you? Like, what's happening? Do you find the positive thing in it? Find what God's trying to show you. Reach out and make the best of these bad situations. This kid that was out here, I mean, me and him hit it off. He's a nice guy, and I try to help him out. He's tried to help me out, and he's just kind of like, well, this isn't the kind of thing that you can just put a patch on. This line needs to be replaced. And so I'm like, well, my yard's going to get dug up. It's awful muddy outside. It's going to rain. Or I'm getting a whole new water line ran to my house, and it's not going to cost me anything. So I just wanted you guys to, whatever you're dealing with, whatever kind of situation it is that's just overwhelming you, try and pray about it. Try and find the positive stuff in it. And don't let these distractions and these situations become so overwhelming that you can't think about anything else, and it causes you to be angry and mad and just lash out at people. And I could have easily cussed out the insurance guy. I could have easily yelled at these, the LG&E guy who busted my water line. Now, did he make a mistake? Did he make me mad? Yeah, but it was kind of like, accidents happen, man. I don't know what you were doing, but at least they made it right. They came back and they made sure they were sorry. They made sure they took care of it. And my buddy, he was able to get work out of it, and we had water for a while. And we're still dealing with this leak. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. My cousin's gonna let us come over and take showers. That was a fun conversation. But yeah, think of the positive things. Try and stay positive, even in all the negative news, all the negative things that come in and try to just distract you and make you mad. And just focus on the good things that can come out of it. And I need to hear this too, because it is very easy for me to get really mad and really aggravated over this little stuff, petty stuff. It doesn't really, in the big long scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. I'm glad I have water. So guys, give you an update hopefully tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have water and we'll be able to use the bathroom in the toilet and get a glass of water and take a shower. But if not, we'll get to go hang out with family and friends and use their showers. God bless you guys. Stay positive. Try not to get overwhelmed and discouraged. And you all have a great week. Thanks for watching. See you later.